cow thing, animals, cows. This one, base game with the cat or with the animal grazing mod, that could quite happily feed 15 cows and they would never go hungry. If you have the grazing mod, and Maize Plus and all the things turned on, then what you're gonna find is that one pasture is enough for one cow. So consider that when you've got a barn of 200 cows and a robot trying to keep up with that. Never going to happen. So they do suggest you play it 3 times, or was it 3 days per month, because it'll lower the amount of food that the animals eat per day, which will give you as a human a chance to keep up with them. But it is suggested that you will possibly be feeding your animals 2 to 3 times, or 1 to 2 times a day at minimum, just to keep them fed. Now, they did say because of the increased food requirements, you will also see increase in slurry, manure, and milk production. I haven't watched the video on pigs or sheep yet, but cows will produce more milk and more manure and slurry. So it's not just a hey, feed them more and have fun. It's feed them more and you will get more income. However, my aversion to adding Maize Plus to this playthrough, it would probably work better if the map was tailored to work with Maize Plus, which is what we did with Oakfield Farm. When we originally started Oakfield Farm, we were using Oxygen David's base map, and when I had my hard drive failure and had to reset the game, what I did was use the farming agency's modified version of Oakfield Farm with Maize Plus and all the stuff added to it. I'm not sure I used that. There were a couple. Oh no, that's right. Yes, I did that, and then farming agency produced version 1.5 of Maize Plus, which changed a lot of things and had they basically said you will probably need a new game save, and I said yeah, I just reset the game once, I'm not going to do it again. So the same with this map, really. We've just done a reset because Cavalier Roy changed some significant things on the why do we not have the manure system DLC? I'm kind of wondering if that is a the manure system was done by, wasn't it Wopster? Or the other guy who I used to use a lot of stuff from. But I'm wondering if the hose system kind of replaces that. And I don't expect to see, for example, why aren't you opening? Sorry. I don't expect to see, for example, Realismus doing a seasons mod, because it's already in game. So I'm wondering, because we're getting the Hose and Pipes DLC, whether Wopsters looked at that and said, I don't really need to... There we go. I don't really need to do the manure system because they've kind of replaced it for me. It was a similar situation with Smetty. What's it? CMT Software, who for Farm Sim 17 did all the really nice class tractors, some of which were featured in Lawfolds. And he had started work on those again for Farm Sim 19, and then the Platinum DLC got announced, and he was like, oh, they're doing class tractors, I guess I don't need to. And so we didn't get... I think we did end up with a couple of Smetty's class tractors, but they were sort of earlier in the 2000s, 2010 models rather than the latest and greatest 2019 version. But some modders do look at it and say, oh, do I really need to duplicate something that's kind of already included or is going to be included? Potentially because we have a third party that's doing the pumps and hoses thing. It's possible that Giants would not accept a manure system mod because, you know, it's sort of, well, we've done a deal with a mod group so that they can charge for the mod, and so we probably shouldn't be allowing sort of free clones of that mod to exist and take their business away from them. That's kind of my opinion. But anyway, so where were we up to with... Yes, so this time out, that's the thing. I mean, this time out, Maze Plus has got some equipment with it. Now, I don't know with the equipment... Excuse me. Oh dear. I don't know whether the equipment requires the scripts in Maze Plus or whether it would work without. But like I said, they have the grass roller. Oh, they have the grass cultivator, which allows you to take a grass field that needs to be ploughed, run the cultivator over it, and it will not destroy the grass that's there. It will also add a level of fertilizer base game, or for precision farming, will add nitrogen to grass fields. Now, I think it was Disturbed did the help videos. He was saying that, yeah, using a cultivator on a grass field doesn't add nitrogen to the field. It does aerate the ground, which promotes growth, and so the argument is it promotes growth, and so we're adding nitrogen to emulate the growth promotion from aerating the ground. But having that piece of equipment would have meant I didn't have to plough up this field and pick up rocks and all the rest of it. I could have just limed it and cultivated it and left it to spring. Now the field over behind us, 51, I'm turning that arable, so I want to rip up the grass in that field anyway. But I could have saved myself this job. But again, only works with Maze Plus, and Maze Plus doesn't work on this map. But yeah, bottom line at the moment, we're not going Maze Plus anytime soon. We might eventually go Maze Plus. And someone says, oh dear, is it oh dear or oh dear? It all depends whether they're sneezing while a deer's running into the front of their car, in which case it's oh dear. Oh, that said, we did get our truck back yesterday, which was the victim of a deer strike. But it's now all fixed, and I believe working okay. Mrs. Osa had to drive it back from the workshop because the car needed gas, and she's not been feeling well recently. Although potential surgery is a lot closer than it was. We have a procedure going on Monday, which is going to give them an idea of what they need to do during the surgery, which is a good thing, and they've held off doing the surgery until that procedure is done. So yeah, things are moving on slowly, but we're definitely on the downhill slope to the second surgery. Then, of course, coming home from the workshop in the car, I suffered a squirrel strike. Baby squirrel ran out onto the highway. Not a wise idea. Stopped in the middle of the lane and then turned around and ran back as my car went over him. And so, yeah, I felt it. Fortunately, squirrels of the baby variety don't do much damage when compared with deer. Our SUV, basically the entire front end was just crushed on the driver's side. Shifted the left panel so that I had to force the door open. The hood was bent. All of the plastic on the front was shattered right the way across. And then a lot of the metal on the front was badly twisted, and it leaked an awful lot of fluid that wasn't oil. Probably power steering fluid and various other hydraulic fluids were leaked all over the road. But, as I said, that's now all fixed up. So, yay. And with Mrs. Osa in the condition she's in, she prefers the SUV because she doesn't have to bend over to get in and out, which obviously a sports sedan is a little bit closer to the ground. But she and teenage Osa should be going out sometime this morning, when they eventually get up, I guess. Obviously, we don't have the kids this week. So next week's stream, we might have kids in the background. And yeah, as you see, from setting the working width to 1 meter, or what's it, 10 centimeters narrower, it does mean that there is a little bit of overlap on each side of this cedar so that we're not missing bits as I straighten it up. And that's part of the problem with this because it's got such a long tow bar. The cedar needs extra length to line up, and you can see on some of the rows where it's not straight at the start. But also this tractor's probably a little bit big for them. I mean, with 247 horsepower tractor and an 85 horsepower cedar, our little 125 Massey could have worked this without too much problem. But as I said, I wanted the GPS because this whole getting it all lined up and everything is a lot easier using that. From last night's episode, or yesterday's episode from Tom Pemberton, he has on trial a 135 horsepower Hurleman, which is made by the same people that make this thing. And this thing needs a clean. That is either YouTube, not YouTube, that is possibly Twitch. I am outputting. What am I outputting? Excuse me. I am outputting the stream. Bitrate 22. The bitrate on the stream should be 2500, so I don't know why it's coming in at a 480p. It may be what Twitch is sending you, it may be what Twitch is downgrading it to. I try to put out as good a stream as possible. Last week was just horrible. We were dropping 50% of our frames. Which is why I just gave up trying. But it did give me time to fix the chat box and the alert box. So people who watch the video later can see what is said in chat. And I'm not just saying stuff out of the blue. Which can always be confusing sometimes. Like I said, I probably should have done this every third. I think when we do the other field, I'll do this every third row. So it'll take three passes across the field, but it'll ease up the turnaround at the end. So I really can't make that turn without fouling the rear wheel on the Cedar's tongue. But big plans to replace that. Maybe not this spring, but I'm definitely considering next year we'll be expanding stuff. Actually, we might think about, because I did have the thought of buying 54, which is significantly low. It's currently reduced in price, 100,000. I was trying to hold off until, yeah, we're going to be selling some crop next month. I believe is the best time for the canola. I think we've got barley, and no, we don't have canola. We have barley, and we have I think wheat and oats to sell. I guess we could look at that. Yeah, wheat, barley and oats. We got a lot of barley because a lot of that was ours, but we did do a couple of barley contracts just to see if harvesting contracts were working. And since we had barley in the tank, the idea was, well, we'll do some barley contracts, and if they don't yield enough, we can use some of ours. And then once we figured that was working, while the grass at the time wasn't, we did a couple more wheat and oat contracts, basically for income at the time, but also the bonus yield is going to help us going into next year. In fact, I'm not even sure if this seeder would work better with the Massey, because obviously the biggest problem we have with it is the clearance with the back wheels, and putting the Massey on it is not going to change that. On some seeders, I think way back when, beginning of law folds, I think I was using this one with a class Axion 960, and the class Axion's turn radius did not match with the seeder's turn capabilities. Or sorry, the class Axion could not turn tight enough to do consecutive 8 meter working widths. So it's kind of the first point where I got used to using GPS, was because I had to plant every other row because the Axion just couldn't turn around in 8 meters. However, we later upgraded to this one, which is a 12 meter seeder, and at that point the Axion was quite happy to swing about and do adjacent rows all the way down the field. Now it's in part the Deutz cannot turn in 4.7 meters. I mean, really it's probably closer to 10, I would guess, maybe 9. But the whole attach mechanism here and the length of the seeder, you look at a lot of seeders that are this kind of size, and they're 3-point hitch attach. So you're not trailing them, and turning around the tractor will just, obviously line up the seeder exactly where it needs to be. But as you get wider, they're trailed. They usually trail further behind the wider the seeder gets. So it does give you ample room to swing around and do what is needed. And again, it comes down to the size of the tractor you're using. The Claas Axion 900 is a large tractor, big frame, doesn't turn around quickly. This does turn around a little bit quicker. We could possibly use this tractor. We've only got 7 horsepower clear on it, but we can probably do an 8-meter turnaround in this tractor. But anyway, so this is working through okay. We're already been going an hour, so it's probably going to take an hour and a half to clear this field. But after we're done seeding, don't think I've got any planting. I'm planting the right thing, aren't I? Yeah, we're planting grass. It needs rolling. Don't have a roller. And it has no nitrogen. Okay. Yeah, I think part of the thing, I don't know if grass produces weeds or the fact that I used a full plough on this field. That we're not going to get any weeds because you don't get weeds if you plough. I'm probably going to get a sprayer with spot spray in spring just to do the whole precision farming, weeding thing. Oh, the other thing I did actually try to do things other than plough. So we used, I think, this plough to plough the field. I did try a disc harrow,